بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير صدق الله العظيم. Reverend judges and experts from their respective fields, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On this special occasion, I want to shed some light on the topic of equality and justice in Islam. Dear dignitaries, we all are well aware of the fact that Islam is the perfect form of a true religion and a complete code of life. It guides mankind in all spheres of life, be it political, social, economical, or religious. The first and the foremost teaching of Islam about equality is that all mankind were created from a single pair of parents, yet they spread on different climes and developed different languages and different shades of complexion. But they are equal on the basis of humanity and brotherhood, as it is mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah chapter number 2 verse number 213, Al-Imran chapter number 3 verse number 133, Al-Hujurat chapter number 49 verse number 13, and so on. I would be humble enough to recite one verse with its translation, as the glorious Quran says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. The ayah means, O mankind, we have created you from a single pair of male and a female and made you into races and tribes so that you may identify one another. Surely the noblest of you in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sight is the one who is the most wise of you. This ayah explains some important points, such as point number 1. The principle of the brotherhood laid down here is based on the broadest foundation, and the differences are only for the sake of identification. Point number 2, the cause of nobility. Point number 3, in Islam, racial pride and ego of the so-called higher class were uprooted. Dear listeners, prophetic traditions are full of the teachings of equality and justice. See Bukhari, hadith number 5575, Musnad Ahmad, hadith number 6447, Muslim, hadith number 4721, and so on. Here, I would be fortunate enough to recite one holy hadith, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Ya ayyuhan nas, ala inna rabbakum bahid, wa inna abakum bahid, la fadla li arabiyyin ala ajamiyyin, ولا لعجمي على عربي ولا لأسود على أحمر ولا لأحمر على أسود إلا بالتقوى. O people, behold, your Lord is one and your Father is one. There is no superiority for an Arab over a non-Arab, neither for a black on a red, nor for a red on a black, except in piety. Intellectuals, Islam demands Muslims to maintain justice and transparency with everyone, as the Surah Nisa chapter number 4 verse number 135 clearly describes the fact, saying, be upholders of justice, even though against the interest to yourself or the parents and the kinsmen. The sentence of this ayah, وَلَوْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَوِ الْوَالِدَيْنِ وَالْأَقْرَبِينَ, clearly asks us to be upholders of justice, even though it is against the interest to yourself or the parents and the kinsmen, as the second Caliph Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu has given practical shape to it. As we know that in Islam, alcohol is totally unlawful and forbidden. Whosoever is caught drunk is punished with 80 lashes. Once the son of the second Caliph Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu committed the same sin and was caught drunk, so the Caliph passed order to punish his son with 80 lashes. In fact, he died at 75th lash, and the remaining 5 lashes were hit on his grave. Allahu Akbar. Such a great level of justice it was. These days, if the children of leaders and ministers commit any sin or indulge in any wrongdoings, they use all their influences to save their children from being sentenced and punished. Likewise, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "O people, beware of justice, for injustice shall be darkness on the day of judgment." Esteemed ulama, if we cast our minds back, we will come to know that in spite of lofty ideas and enlightenment, the West didn't solve racial problems, inequality and injustice, while Islam has achieved the success due to its universal teachings and divine section. In short, it laid the foundation stone of democracy and freedom when Europe was fast asleep in savagery and the world was unaware of equality and justice. The Islamic concept of equality and justice saved the humanity from the disaster and paved the way for democracy, absolute justice and freedom. Now, I wind up my talk here with this Urdu couplet. Adlo insaf faqad mawqoof nahi. अदलो इंसाफ फ़क़त हश्र पे मौकूफ़ नहीं, ज़िंदगी खुद भी गुनाहों की सज़ा देती है। व आखिरु दावानी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन।